a few months since we've seen each other. I heard
Yeah,
you were in
riding around
Miami,
scooters in
in
downtown.
Calgary. Yeah, yeah. I'm not in Calgary right now. I skipped the winter, and I know you're traveling way, way more than I am. But in Calgary, it's minus 30, 35 or 30 degrees centigrades. I don't know what that would be in Fahrenheit, but it's
Yep.
crazy. It's snowing and all of that good stuff. So
Yeah.
my wife and I, we packed up our bags and we moved to Athens, Greece. So we've been here for about a month,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's way better than Calgary weather for sure, man.
Athens, Greece.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
You coming
That's wild.
you coming down this way anytime? We got a spare bedroom here, man. We can
Greece. I
always
was in
crash down.
Greece last year. Yeah, I did all
Were
the
you?
Acropolis and everything.
Nice, nice. It's beautiful, man. I love it. Did you
Yeah,
come here
yeah.
summer or winter?
I was there in the spring, I think, and I
Hmm.
was taking a bunch of pictures and making short little videos, and they had these docents or like whatever, but these like guards or not guards, but like whatever, like tourist people like that manage the tourists, and they wouldn't let us take any
Yeah.
video. I thought that
Really?
was surprising. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
didn't
because they
have that
thought that we were
issue.
doing commercial video because I had some lighting and
Huh.
some microphones.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, you go pro, man. Nice. Weren't you in Miami yesterday?
Yeah, seven-figure agency
Are
with Josh
you
and them.
are you still there or?
No, I'm in another part of Florida. I'm in Miramar Lakes.
Nice, 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 man. Well, I know we got this. Thanks for. I really appreciate you taking the time out for taking care of this, Dennis. Today, I really want to talk about because we've been implementing some of your strategies, and they've been for the last 3 to 4 months now, I think,
Yeah,
and they've been like working phenomenal. And we sell to digital marketing agencies. It's not an easy crowd to sell to,
yeah.
but uh, but man, like our discovery calls have never been higher. I think we're doing like 100, every single month. We have a client
Congrats.
waiting list right now. And this, dollar a day strategy, which we started out with, but, with you on board coaching us, I really wanted to bring the Lighthouse strategy and talk a little bit about the Lighthouse strategy that we really have been implementing, like, the growth that we've seen over the last 3 to 6 months implementing your Lighthouse strategy. I kind of wanted to give a brief overview to our listeners who are really digital marketing agency owners about what this Lighthouse strategy is, and how to move forward with this. But like, we've had firsthand experience, immensely successful. And we have the founder, or the person who invented the Lighthouse strategy and the dollar a day strategy with us, Dennis. You here today with us. So Dennis, do you mind quickly explaining to us, or just giving us a brief rundown of what Lighthouse strategy means?
A lighthouse is completely different from the way most agencies think about marketing. Because most agencies start from a position of zero trust. When you have no trust, then you do a lot of cold emails, you do a Dream 100, you do a lot of cold outbound, you try to get people on a discovery call. Then you have to try to convince them that, that we can actually help you, and what would you, can you take 2 more clients per month? What would that do to your business? All these agencies use this cold outbound approach, which is starting from zero and trying to get the client to believe that you should hire this agency among all the other thousands of agencies that say they do the same thing. And the client really can't tell because it looks like the same thing. And then once they close the client, then the salesperson leaves the situation, and then it moves to an account manager. And the account manager now has to deliver upon whatever promises were made by the salesperson. They may or may not have the
Mm,
details that were being said in those calls. Maybe the agency has 1 or 2 good case studies or testimonials that are good, but maybe it's hard to replicate exactly what that is because every client's a little bit different. And just because one person's good on video and drives leads, or one person lives in a certain area that's a stronger metro versus another area, there's so many different factors that can cause a client to succeed.
mm,
And so there's so much
mm.
risk, because even if you're good at sales, which is not even what matters for agencies, which I know like any agency doing under 7 figures is going to claim that that's not true, because leads and sales they're going to claim is what they really need, which is never, it's not the case. The delivery is actually more important. So we know this
Mm,
because fulfillment, when you fulfill, you don't have client churn, which then means you only need to get a couple more clients every month, and you're growing 200% per year, you know, like a Tony Ricketts, something like that. So that's the typical agency model. And that's what most people just assume. They don't even question that that's the model. But here's what we're talking about. Imagine the exact opposite was true. Imagine if all potential clients for your agency already knew who you were, already loved you, were clamoring to work with you, just like you have, Azar, where you have this waiting list of all these clients, right? Imagine if they were able to get 15 minutes with you or someone on the team, they say, wow, what a great honor. Like, I can't believe I'm actually speaking with Azar. You guys are amazing. Do you think maybe take on someone like me, right? And then instead of you saying, hey, you know, let me try to convince you that we're really good. Instead, you try to disqualify them saying, well, you know, we would love to work with you, but here's things that we need from you in order for you to be successful. Are you willing to commit to giving us these 1-minute videos? Can you give us access? Can you assign a single point of contact so that we have someone to work with? Because if we ask you to do something and you don't get that done, then we're not going to win. So it's the exact opposite, because currently agencies are like, they're like a salesperson. They're down here and they're trying to convince this other person to show up to the call and all this. It's the exact opposite. Now the power is turned. Now the client, the agency, or the client who's considering working for the agency, they're willing to do all these things because they want to be successful. It's the same as talking to a doctor. When you go to the doctor and you're in pain, then the doctor is going to do a diagnosis and make a recommendation to you. You're not going to challenge the doctor. I mean, the doctor might be very expensive, but you're not going to say, right, Azar, would you ever go to a doctor and they say, you know, we did the x-rays and whatever, and there's something wrong with your liver, or we need to take your appendix out or something, and this is what it's going to cost, and we're going to do this kind of surgery. Are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to go to 3 other doctors because I think I can get the appendicitis, the appendix removal for cheaper, right? Or I think, you know what, I want to talk to the heart surgeon in your hospital. I want to talk to the liver guy. I want to talk to the brain surgeon. I want to talk to the gynecologist. I want to talk to a patient. Never does that when we set the rules. So this is the model. The model of the Lighthouse is it starts with authority, because you demonstrate you know what you're doing. And you do that, all these other folks fall in line because they know this is the model. We publish the model. This is the way we do it. It's not like, you know, my way or the highway, but clients want to know that you know what you're doing. Can you imagine like going to a surgeon and before he's about to operate, he says like, gee, I wonder if I've never done one of these ones before. Or, you know what? Let me just go to YouTube and figure out like which kind of, you know, scalpel I should use. Or imagine the surgeon comes to you, Azar, like just as you're about to pass under with anesthesia, and he says to you, should I use this scalpel or that scalpel? I'm not sure, right?
Love it, Dennis. I just vividly remember when, you know, you and I were talking back in Calgary. I think it was May of this year, and you were like, you know, you don't need a sales team or a big for that matter. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah,
And you know, like this goes completely against everything we've been taught in the agency world. And
yeah.
like, how do I couldn't even comprehend back then that, you know, and a person like, and you're operating like that. And I'm like, it's not possible,
It's
Dennis. Like,
not
what are
luck.
you talking about?
It's
Right.
I've been doing it for 30 years.
And then we
Yeah,
go in and we start implementing what you said, that we were
yeah,
supposed, with dollar a day and the Lighthouse
yeah,
strategy. And now it's coming to fruition that, you know, like all these people coming in, lining up.
yeah,
We have a 20 client wait list at this point
yeah,
because we just can't provide our VAs fast enough. So a
yeah.
question to you, Dennis, on the lighthouses, like who can be a lighthouse? Like,
Oh, I have a lighthouse right
who
here sitting next to me. You want to meet
who
him?
is that person? Yeah.
It's Daryl Isaacs here. Well, come over here. Come over here, Daryl. Come say. We'll put this here, right here. All right. So this is Daryl Isaacs. He's known as the Hammer.
Hello, hello.
And
Hi, Daryl.
he's not
How you
just an
doing?
ordinary personal engineer. Let's go this way because
Okay.
that way this weird, it's got this weird. You know what? Let's just stand. Let's
All right,
let's stand back over here.
All right,
All right.
Good to meet you,
You know
Daryl.
what? Or let's
Nice
see.
to meet you.
Over this way, just like a little bit more here. Okay.
All
Let
right.
me just tilt it. Okay, so Azar runs RepStack, and he provides services to other agencies.
Okay.
They're out of Pakistan. They're creating a ton of jobs.
Oh.
I love what they're doing. We have a lot of mutual friends.
Okay.
And so we're helping a lot of agencies grow because, you know, agencies they're constantly focusing on trying to sell the client. They don't
Right.
have clear processes.
Right.
And when we have these clear published processes, and we have a lighthouse, meaning a great example.
Oh,
So Daryl Isaacs is an example of a lighthouse because he's got hundreds of personal injury attorneys that follow him. He just had a conference in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. He's done $2 billion in recovery, and he's super well known. We were in Kentucky with him last week, and wherever we went to restaurants or whatnot, people would stop him because his face is on TV and billboards. He's got Super Bowl ads, all that kind of stuff. So he's super well known.
Stop! You're going to make me blush.
You are blushing, Daryl.
Well, Dennis is the best in the world, and I always work with the best in the world. So I reached out, and instant respect and relationship. So, in fact, he came down to visit me in Florida. I've got a place down here, so he's hanging out of my place, and I'm stealing all his knowledge.
Well, you got to go for it. Dennis and I have been spending some time, for the last 1 year. I'm originally in Calgary. I'm in Athens right now, but Dennis and I got to ride some scooters back in May, and since then we've been implementing his strategies. And one of his strategies that he's been talking to us about is his Lighthouse strategy, and it's a true example, right? Like we have a lighthouse right here. You take that person and you build relationship with those, like you identify those people inside your niche, and now you have content with these people, and they help build authority for any business that you're trying to promote, right? So it's incredible. Daryl, we have a waiting list of clients right now because of Dennis. We have like 20 plus clients waiting for us to get our people inside their digital marketing agencies. We sell to, I think, we sell to one of the hardest people, which is digital marketing agency owners. And, it's we book like 120 plus discovery calls every single month. And then even after that, we can't sell to them. They have to wait usually 2 weeks up to a month, sometimes a month and a half before they can get one of our people. And we couldn't have done it without Dennis's strategy. So that's why it's so important to, have
how many people are you at now,
side.
Azar? You're like 200 some people?
Yeah, we're over 200 people.
So he's got 200 that work for him, or 200 VAs?
So he provides VAs to agencies. Because agencies are good at selling, but then they can't execute. They can't do account management. Right?
So we can get them direct, though.
And I stayed at his brother's house in Islamabad, and we met their parents, and we spoke at a lot of the big conferences. So we have, Azar knows this. We're pretty tight with Pakistan.
Well, Azar, your English is better than mine. I was born here, and your English is much better than mine.
Well, that's great.
Then love to work with you all. Love to work with every. I told Dennis, any friend of Dennis is a friend of mine.
Same here. Thanks for the introduction, Dennis. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people are watching us right now. They're going to be really super excited to be seeing both of you guys in camera right now. And Daryl, this is one of our special.
I'm going to have to come to your country then, right? I'm going to have to come out there and say hi.
You'll be a celebrity. Double celebrity.
But book a extra seat next time. Dennis, I think you visited Pakistan like twice or more than twice in the last 1 year, right?
Yeah.
And our thing, Daryl, and one of the things that really gets me riled up is that me and my brother, we both came to the U.S. I went to Minnesota State when I was 20 years old. My brother stayed in U.S. He started working for J.P. Morgan Chase. I went to Canada. We both built out great careers for us because we got a level playing field. What really gets me excited right now is that the borders have literally all but disappeared right now. So a person sitting in Pakistan, the only reason they're not making the same amount of money right now is because of their geolocation. Because you can hear me talk right now. Those guys are doing the same type of work that a person from Miami, Austin, Seattle would be doing, but they'll be making 60 grand a year. And these guys are being penalized because they're sitting somewhere else. So, that's why, our motto is agency future leaders. We're bringing these people and we're trying to level the playing field, not because of their location, but just because of the work that they're trying to do. And, it's a long fight, but Dennis is helping us out with that to get there. But
think about this. So let's say, Daryl, you and I are having a chat, and Azar is working on our team doing something in digital marketing. Looking at him now, you wouldn't know if he was in Seattle or Miami or Pakistan, or you're in Athens, Greece today. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So imagine that if it's like all based on stereotypes, because people have this idea of what they think like a VA is, or a hick from the South talks like, or they have all these ideas. Like they see me, they think they just like auto judge what they think. But we can hire people who are like Azar, who are incredible, and train them up and give them opportunities. And it's not like we're hiding where they're from, right? If they're from the Philippines or Nicaragua or wherever they are, like, look at the amazing opportunity here. I believe in performance. If people can drive the performance, I don't care where you live. Right?
You know, what's interesting. I mean, before when Lee started doing his music, he's got more downloads from Australia, like all over the world, than say America.
Yeah.
I mean,
his son's a rock star, Lee Isaacs.
I was just saying, you know, you could. I mean, it's almost like he's got on 450 playlists, but like when I saw what Gavin did over there, I mean, it's almost like I got the QR code. I'm going to send Lee stuff, and then they can. Well, we can all help each other. That's what really makes this work.
Yeah, and one last thing, Daryl, on that note is that, you know, my brother and I, you know, we came here, we were able to grow ourselves and make more money than, you know, the average American does, right? Like, you know, over 100.
Can I boast a little bit? Like, you guys own multiple businesses, and I saw your brother give a presentation on how to grow a 8-figure business. They own a chain of restaurants. They have a chain of hotels. They have this agency. They have a donut company.
Wow.
They have all these different companies. So they're super humble about this.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
But thanks a lot. But the thing, what I'm trying to say, Dennis, is that, you know, we come here and, you know, we're able to do all these incredible things. And, you know, like, that's what, you know, like, that's the mission that I have right now. That's what gets me out of my bed. That, you know, me and my brother come here with the same limitations. My brother got rid of his job at JP Morgan Chase at a vice president level. And, you know, he's in this business full time with us right now. And, you know, we're able to do all these amazing things. But, you know, our people who are outside of the country, they don't get the same type of opportunities. So, you know, we're on a mission to kind of leveling the playing field with amazing people like Dennis. And hopefully now you, Daryl, and it's great.
Yes,
great
sir. I'm at your service.
Awesome.
You get Dennis, you get me. He said, hey, you get me 24/7. I'm the same way. Give you my cell number. You can call me anytime. Text me, whatever I can do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Dennis, before we wrap this up, on the Lighthouse strategy that we were talking about, any closing remarks on that?
Yeah. Let me just say a few things. Daryl, I really like Daryl. I'm not just saying that. He's a lighthouse, not because a lot of other personal injury attorneys come to him for advice on how to grow their firm. He calls them eaglets. He's a lighthouse because his focus is on helping other people. So he was in a serious car accident just a few years ago, traumatic brain injury. Doctor said he wouldn't be able to walk, put a wheelchair in front of him. And he made a promise to God that if he was able to recover, he would focus his life on helping everybody. And he has done that.
Wow.
I've seen him day in and day out. This guy donates millions of dollars, and most of it, no one even knows because he does it secretly. And he tells these people, here, I'm going to pay for your car accident, or I'm going to help your charity, but don't tell anybody about it, which is kind of a shame because it's a great PR thing, but he's not doing it to show that he's throwing around all this money. He's doing it because this is what he believes in. So a lighthouse cares more about other people, and they're successful enough. They're at that stage where it's not that they've made it and they have a fancy car and house and boats. And it's not that. It's that they've made it to the point of abundance where they're able to help other people, and their focus is on doing that. So I don't think Daryl's involved in the day-to-day little details of every single case and every car accident and motorcycle accident. He's got a bunch of people that he's trained up. Clearly, he started doing that 30 years ago with his father, Sheldon. That's how they've been able to grow and grow and grow. And in spite of like digital media and social marketing, all these things changing from the old billboard, yellow pages, TV kinds of days, he's adapted because people identify with who he is as a person, and those mission-driven values, I believe, are what people call the hammer when they get in a car accident. Because I don't think I'm talking about PI, I don't really know. You're the actual guy, but I'll just pretend. I don't think any of your clients really know which lawyer is better than any other lawyer.
Right.
And they make a decision because they trust you. They see how well you take care of their friends. And they say, you know what, if I get in a car accident or whatever, and I see how well my friend was being taken care of at Daryl's firm, then that's the guy I'm going to trust, because I'm not going to try to like research which lawyer, like, how do I know which lawyer is actually better than the other lawyer? And the reason why the reason why this word of mouth is so strong is because he does such a good job in taking care of his people. I've seen how well Daryl takes care of his people, and that just flows into how you take care of the customers. I stayed at the Ritz 2 days ago. The service was amazing. I think the breakfast was overpriced, but they treated me so well. Like when I walked in there,
the Ritz and Chick-fil-A have got the two best training programs out there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting because the last few days I've been with Dennis. Yesterday's a great example. I got great news. My doctor thought I had prostate cancer. I didn't think I had it, but I was cleared. I don't have it. But last night, dropped you off, went back, started doing email, and the appointments the day before were 19 new appointments. And there was like 8 new truck accidents. So for us, every day we get these appointments. They're like sales, you know, they're our inventory. And it seems the more I help others, like yesterday, I led one of the Zoom calls, kind of like he's doing, but you know, I had 25 people on, a lot of attorney owners, and the more I do for others, and then it just comes back. Last night, you know, Haley sends me this little text, you know, earlier in the day, of course, but 19 new signups. Congratulations. I mean, my staff ties into my visionary, but my visionary is to help others. And so that way we both win.
That's amazing that you bring that example up, because that's exactly what we're talking about. You're in your industry, you are a lighthouse now. And, you know, we were talking about Dennis's lighthouse strategy. So imagine, you know, for example, I might be a digital marketing agency, Dennis, who's working with personal injury lawyers, and having Daryl on my show and working with Daryl. You know, you not only are helping yourself, Daryl, but just going on a podcast with that digital marketing agency owner, you're going to be actually bringing a lot of clout over to them. It might only be a 30-minute call for you, but for that digital marketing agency owner, Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, it gives them the clout that they need to grow, because now they've had you on their show. Now they can use that particular content to, you know, like tell the world that, look, we hang out with people like Daryl, and you guys can trust us, right? So, and that's what we're exactly talking about. This is such a great example, Dennis. Thanks for doing this for us, man.
Yeah. So Azar has done such a great job with this agency by providing staff to other agencies. His lighthouse would be me, perhaps, or Josh Nelson. So Josh Nelson
I've heard you talk about Josh.
runs the mastermind that we talk. All these agency owners, they fly in, just like you have the Brain Trust Legal Group. And because Josh has the dominant book on how do you scale an agency, he has the dominant process. He has all the top people like me coming in to teach inside his mastermind. Because Josh uses RepStack for virtual assistants to do account management, to even do leadership kinds of positions, not just like VA low-level work. All these other agencies, they say, dang, if Josh Nelson just sings the praises of Azar and all the people that he has on RepStack, maybe I need to be thinking a little bit differently about Pakistan, or think a little bit differently about the Philippines. Like, I didn't realize that was really possible. And if the guy I respect in the industry is using this, I want to use the same guy, right? So that they see Daryl drinking beet juice. That has nothing to do with truck accidents, right? But if I see, you know, Daryl's journey, he's lost 72 pounds and his energy is so high, and I just want to be like Daryl, and I see that every morning, or how he does the beet juice thing, I'm going to want to do the same thing too. I think the Lighthouse strategy is simply the same thing. Did you know when Nike got started that they had no money and Adidas was the dominant brand, because they had soccer, they had the Olympics, they had all this kind of stuff. So they had no marketing budget. So what what Nike would do, Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman, these guys, they would give out shoes. They'd go into the inner city and they give out these shoes to the drug dealers. Because if the kingpin or whoever the name of like the big one was wearing those shoes, all the other people in the posse or group would wear the same shoes too. They found the best athletes. These guys, Steve Prefontaine, or the original like distance athletes, and gave them Nike shoes for free. Because
they really started that.
Want to follow the same way.
Yeah, they started the trend of you know, athlete sponsorships and things like that before it was even a thing. That, you know, try out our shoes for free, and you know, back in the day it wasn't done, and you know, Nike's where it is. And one short segue to that is that I'm in Athens Greens right now, and you know, one of their goddesses is Nike, I'm not sure what she represents, but that's where
She's a
Phil
Greek
Knight
goddess of
got the name
victory. She's in the Louvre.
Victory.
Yeah.
There we go. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So that's where Phil Knight got and Phil Knight's book, by the way, the Shoe Dog, one of the best books I've read. I highly recommend
Yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah.
so that's why you're successful. You study other people. You see, you read his book. You're living what we call the American dream. Sadly, many Americans take it for granted.
Yeah.
And so, but I always say the cream rises to the top. So the ones that want it the most, that work the hardest, that do what it takes, they'll be great. And
That's
you hang out with
amazing,
successful people. That's why Dennis is my new BFF.
We couldn't have done it without Dennis.
Yeah,
Dennis,
he's very
like
great.
you know,
He's got a lot of credit too.
we started out just being friends, Daryl, but we officially started working with Dennis because it was a no-brainer for us, especially after that meeting in Calgary when you and I met face to face, Dennis. It was a no-brainer, right? And since then, we've seen that Dennis used to talk about that you guys can do this without having huge sales teams, and I was like, are you out of your mind? What are you talking about? This has never been done, right? And now we're seeing that come to fruition because we have a wait list of clients right now waiting to come in, and we have the authority that we were looking to build out. So
it's because your product is so good. If your product wasn't good, you couldn't follow. Everything here we're talking about is assuming that your product and your operations are solid.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and by the way, Dennis is on our waiting list for a couple of positions right now. Dennis, I promise you that's coming up right now.
Other people,
Are you getting some for me too?
Yeah, I'll get you some.
Yeah. Dennis said I need 5 or 10 to well, that's great.
Awesome.
Well, maybe a
great talk.
Your info and all. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you, Zarv. It's a pleasure.
Same here, Daryl. Daryl. I think
Bye-bye.
Dennis, this was great, man. I couldn't have asked for a better podcast for our audience, man.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing, one final thought, and then maybe Daryl could leave a thought. We grow because we honor other relationships. Yeah. And a lot of people will the people who are noobs in digital marketing will think, oh, it's because Dennis is like this expert in SEO and all this other kind of, I have a lot of experience, but it's because I honor other people that help me out. And I give credit to other people that have done great things. And I look at Daryl. Daryl is one of the best embodiments of this leadership I've ever seen, because he'll openly tell other people that he flunked the bar twice and that he's the dumbest one in the room because he just hires the smartest people. But that is the point, is he's always, as a leader, giving credit, not in a fake sort of way, but he's really built that strong team of people. So if I have a question around like email marketing, or I have an issue like our Twitter got suspended, or I have, any kind of issue about anything, I know who I can talk to, right? I can pick the phone and call somebody and get a favor done. And it's not because I have this special expertise. I have those relationships that I built up over a really long time. Like I'm super well connected inside Google and Facebook and whatnot. And people have seen me call favors. They're like, hey, you know what? I want to hold an offsite. I want to hold something in your company cafeteria, and I'll invite 300 people. Do you think you could set that up for me? Like, oh yeah, done. Right? I did that at GoDaddy. I had a big party at GoDaddy's headquarters, and invited a bunch of vice presidents from there and other folks. We got the podcast there. GoDaddy promoted it to their list. And other people are like, well, I want to hold an event at GoDaddy. Well, it's going to take 15 years to build a relationship with the guy who runs community there. So I think another thing, in digital, it's easy to think like, oh, well, you're just like one click away and you can go viral and all that the young adults, that's what they think about digital. Right. I'm a big fan of building relationships over time. And if you look at the people on my network, I've known them for a really long time. And that's the thing I want to do.
If you want an example, look at my Twitter. 3 days ago, I had 2 followers, and today, every time I look around, there's new followers, and you haven't even got
haven't started yet.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, this is no different than anything else. If you look at every business, I don't care if it's law, what you all do, doctor, anything, you have to build relationships with credibility and trust. I don't do anything magic. I always empower people because I've been so blessed. But this morning I got a call. It's sad. Their 2-year-old, his fiance's 2-year-old niece was killed by a truck in a car accident. And he texted me last night through social media, through my instant messenger, and said, I need to talk to you. So I just texted him my cell number. And this morning I got back from my massage, and next thing you know, he's calling. And he's just like, you got to help this family. You got to help this family. They just buried this child yesterday. And today's her little bit, she turned 2.
Oh, man.
And I said, I promise you I will help, but why don't you all take a few days and grieve? And so I put one of the attorneys who works for me, I just brought him in. We talked. And I just said, look, I want them to know I'm there for them. You know, we deal with tragedy. So it's kind of, it's hard because you're getting the worst that's happened to the best people. But everything I do, it's all relationships and it's credibility and trust. And that's like what Dennis does.
Totally.
You know, he's got the credibility and the trust. So nothing I'm doing is any magic. But I tell my role model always was Zig Ziglar. You can get anything in this world. You help enough people get what they want. And I just, every day I try to live that example.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we were talking about today. So this is going to send out a great message. And one of the things on relationship building, guys, and you know, the Lighthouse strategy that Dennis and I are talking about is because of Dennis, we got to meet Gavin recently.
Gavin's the best. And I didn't even know he's old enough to drive when I first met him.
And you know what? Because
he's a world famous. He's a superstar. Of course, I'd like to be Gavin. He's good looking, got Adonis body, knowledgeable. Hell, I've been learning from him. I'm 58 and I'm learning from Gavin.
And just because of that relationship, I was featured on entrepreneur.com recently on their podcast. Wow. And, you know, and that's because, you know, relationship building, right? And Entrepreneur is one of those magazines. I used to work at Best Buy back in the day as a sales job, take the bus ride back in home, and I'd be reading entrepreneur.com. And today, because of these amazing people that I surround myself with, I was on their podcast. So, you know, like I'm extremely humbled.
That's awesome.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it, guys. Guys, this has been a real pleasure talking to both of you. Dennis, thanks for bringing your special guests. I know you guys are working today, but I think this is going to go a long way helping other digital marketing agency owners get going with the Lighthouse strategy, which is really the core of it, the crux of it is relationship building.
Well, thank
you. Thank you, Azar. Always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Appreciate you, my friend.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk soon.
All right, I'll see you.
Bye-bye.